Message of love to those who believe they are believing in Jesus Christ. A message from a former atheist. Many are those who say they believe in Jesus Christ. It is said that a little more than 1,000 million people believe in Jesus. We can see all around the world there are thousands and thousands of Christian churches of all denominations and names. All of them speak about Jesus Christ in general terms. However, what we see does not necessarily express what Jesus Christ really is. How many of those millions of believers reflect the essence of their Master? This message is addressed to those who believe they are believing in Jesus. No doubt, the title is ironic. I speak to those who believe they are Christians. There are not few who think and assume this. The first thing we need to discard are a number of matters about Yeshua the Messiah, that is, of Jesus Christ, of Jesus. And here is the main and first. Jesus is not a religion, something frequently mentioned but poorly understood. Second and most important, Jesus, God manifested in the flesh, is love. Jesus is love, period. Few of those who call themselves believers in Jesus Christ understand the simplicity of God. God is love. They still think that to have a relationship with God is to gather once or twice a week at a church or a temple, give tithes, study the Bible for a while, and pray a few times a day. I'm talking about those millions who believe that being a believer in Jesus Christ is to hear Christian songs and praise the Lord for the duration of the song, the sermon, or preaching. I speak to those who are legalistic, meaning those that relate to God through the law of Moses or the law of the church, your pastor or bishop, or by a mix of all. Mostly, I'm writing to those who practice so-called good deeds. I am speaking also to those who believe that being Christians or believers in Jesus is not drinking, not smoking, not stealing, not using drugs, and of course, not to fornicate, not gamble, and work and be a good Christian. But what does it really mean to believe in Jesus Christ? Really, that group of believers, their testimony can be convincing to us who are still without God in the world. Today, there are millions of atheists or people who do not believe in God. Science and technology have contributed greatly for many to think that God does not exist. However, if we go deeper, we will see that both science and technology are not that much the cause of atheism. The phenomenon of religion in general and the varied mass of believers, not only Christians but all faiths that exist in the world, are a good argument for the non-believers or atheists against them, and more so against God. Today, there is a raging war between believers and atheists or non-believers. Certainly, the atheists don't boast to believe in God, while the believers who boast of knowing Jesus, the God of love, are generally visibly judgmental and arrogant in their beliefs. This claim is for both believers and non-believers. The claim for believers is this: if God is love, justice, truth, and forgiveness, why not live it? They give tithes, meet in rituals and ceremonies, do all-day charity, and obey their churches, but also spend their lives judging and condemning everything that is not compatible with their belief or revelation. In general, the testimony of those who believe they believe in Jesus Christ is unfortunate and in ways absurd, for it is contradictory and inconsistent. They make God a religion, that is, another institution on earth, which is inconceivable to think that man's religion of God was created by God. The invitation or exhortation is double. For believers and atheists, they are both human beings. Some do believe that God exists and that they are the children or disciples, and others believe that this is impossible. The first is we should respect each other. But I'm not implying that one is not able to give his or her opinion. They both speak of God, but in the opposite way. However, incredible as it may seem, many times God is closer to an atheist than 100 believers who are manufactured and not original. If God exists, he must be love, and the true testimony is not in those who belong to a denomination or go to a temple, but in those that reflect every day the true love of God. As far as I know, love is poverty, because it doesn't possess anything or want anything for its own. As far as I know, love is not to judge others, but to show love for others. We know that true love suffers long and is kind. Love does not envy, love does not parade itself, and it's not puffed up. So says the Bible. To our brothers and sisters who are trapped in the business of religion, especially Christianity, we invite you to come out of that which is not coming from God, to begin to worship him in spirit and truth. Reflect on this. Has your religion or denomination revealed to you the God of love? Now, while Paul waited for them at Athens, his spirit was provoked within him when he saw that the city was given over to idols. Therefore he reasoned in the synagogue with the Jews and with the Gentile worshippers, and in the marketplace daily with those who happened to be there. Then a certain Epicurean and Stoic philosophers encountered him, and some said, "What does this babbler want to say?" Others said, "He seems to be a proclaimer of foreign gods, because he preached to them Jesus and the resurrection." And they took him and brought him to the Areopagus, saying, "May we know what this new doctrine is of which you speak? For you are bringing some strange things to our ears. Therefore we want to know what these things mean." For all the Athenians and the foreigners who were there spent their time in nothing else but either to tell or to hear something new. Then Paul stood in the midst of the Areopagus and said, "Men of Athens, I perceive that in all things you are very religious. For as I was passing through and considering the objects of your worship, I even found an altar with this inscription, 'To the unknown God.' Therefore, the one whom you worship without knowing, him I proclaim to you." Whoever has ears, let them hear.